Hey everybody, Captain Abs is back in the flight deck with you, and we're still on our way, and for some reason seem to have exited cinematic mode at some point, and I don't know when or why. Little weird. Don't know why that happened. But for some reason it's sitting here in the flight deck, which is, well, I mean, it's just as boring whether I'm here or not, pretty much. There's a grand total of 0 happening out here, really. Let's see here. We are, there's Eli, which I believe is Nevada. So we're kind of over the middle of Nevada. It's a pretty featureless landscape out here. I think we passed Vegas a little while ago. And let's see here. One of the things I was queuing up for here was to be here when that tank runs dry. We got about another 2 tons to go. So it's going to be about 15 or 20 minutes until those actually run dry, and we'll have to turn off those center pumps to make sure they do not overheat. So yeah, back in the flight deck again. Let's have a quick look around as well and just make sure that nothing else much has changed. Our time of arrival is looking about the same. Fuel has gone back up a little bit. I think we lost a little bit of the headwind component there as we made our way northwestbound, so that helps with that. But yeah, otherwise, or maybe it was the step climb. Might have been the step climb too that helped with that. But otherwise, I don't see any yellow lights. I don't see anything out of place in the flight deck. Nothing really. Everything looks like the way it should pretty much, so I don't see too much to talk about. There's not too much online either in terms of ATC, Sim Toolkit Pro. Show me what's on there. We're like halfway there. A little more than halfway there, I guess. We got about an hour. Sim Toolkit Pro thinks it's about an hour and 35 minutes left to go, so a little more than halfway there. Yeah. So that's Eli in Nevada. And there's a cat, I think, in this room, burrowing into something, making some noise, and probably causing some trouble. Not helping the flight in any way, shape, or form, that's for sure. So yeah, so we're just crossing the border between Utah and Nevada right now. Still no ATC online as far as we're concerned. Albuquerque ground did log on, but that doesn't help us at all. And Vancouver Center, if I zoom out, Vancouver Center is still there. Putting in a nice hardcore day, but the longer he's there too, the more skeptical I am that he'll be there when we get there. Because it's that much more likely that he's going to run out of steam. I don't know that controller particularly well, so I don't know if they're going to put in a 6-hour shift or not. But I'm just going to quickly check here on the VATSIM window over here and tell you that he's already been online for 3 hours and 20 minutes. So what are the odds that they're going to put in a 2-hour shift? I wouldn't put it super high. Well, the other thing I will say is there is a terminal controller on actually in Vancouver as well. So actually, it's Vancouver Center. We don't even care so much about if there's a terminal controller because we pass directly from Seattle into the Vancouver terminal. So yeah, if we have a Vancouver terminal controller on board, that's nicer. That's easier. One thing I did note too, and I was looking at this here, is that there does appear to be some SIDs into Victoria. I don't know why our filed flight plan did not automatically include a SID here. So if I could just pull up the other end of the flight here. I don't think I actually have it loaded. Nope, that's my last flight that I did. So load it up really quick and go to destination. Open the charts list there. There are a couple of stars here. I think the Disco would make some sense for us. Anyways, I really don't know why it wasn't generated as part of our flight plan. Fasbo 6, but the Disco 4 comes from the southeast and would set us up nicely on that downwind. So I don't know why we're not on the Disco arrival, frankly, to be honest. That being said, if there's ATC there anyways, what the hell do I care? He will, as long as that controller stays on there, he'll vector us over there. So I'm not going to put the Disco arrival in right now. I'm going to plan on making that ATC, that controller work for us. Yeah, so, but if that controller disappears, if we don't have any ATC, then I may plop in that Disco arrival, the 09 transition would just be Disco out here to Lush, Lidus, and Ominu, and then the ILS to runway 09 swings us around. That way there is no transition, so it would have to be self-vectored. And there is some higher terrain over here. That's one of the things that makes this airport a little bit challenging to get in and out of, is that there is some higher terrain here. underneath the final approach path. When you get like, what is that? That's probably about, yeah, that's about 10, 11 miles away from the airport. Yeah, you're starting to get to some pretty high terrain, 3,000 feet. Makes it a little bit challenging to vector some people onto the approach there, so. It's an interesting part of the world. Lots of higher terrain, which, as I said, always makes it kind of interesting when you're trying to deal with, you know, vectoring and stuff like that, so. If I can show the Disco 4 arrival, perhaps, and do the overlay, or maybe even the APAS 6 and do the overlay. And you can see, like, you know, obviously, like, over the water here and over this kind of delta where Vancouver is, it's a pretty nice flat area, but it rises pretty quickly over here to the east. It rises pretty quickly over to the west of the Victoria Airport as well, so I need to be aware of where you are. If we have some ATC, that'll help. They'll be aware of the minimum vectoring altitudes. They'll make sure to get us safely onto that approach path. But it is a little bit of a challenge because of the high terrain that rises underneath that approach path. It's hard to get down to a vectoring altitude. The vectoring altitudes, especially on the south side, are higher than on the north side. But nevertheless, we will see what we see. Hopefully we'll have the terminal controller when we get there. That would be nice. That would be nice. Otherwise, I don't see any chat messages here while I was gone. The only chat message I saw was someone wanting to offer to sell me followers. I don't think if you weren't into aviation, I think you would just die of boredom following this channel. So I'm not interested in buying any followers. Thank you. But thank you for your concern. I do appreciate the offer. You must be doing it out of the kindness of your heart, right? Oh, right, buy followers. Yeah. I'd be interested in seeing one day, visiting that website, but I'm afraid if I do visit it, then it's going to register my browser history and be kind of, who knows what kind of stuff I'll see after that. Why is that doing that? Sun is playing off my track IR or something, but it's not really sunny, but there must be some light playing off my track IR and suddenly glitching it around. Yeah, but there's not much else happening in here. Everything else in the flight deck looks pretty good. All the systems are good. The engines are running smoothly. Fuel, we've got lots in the tank still. We got tons of fuel here. We're going to have probably 5 tons extra by the time we get to Victoria, which is lots. So, yeah. Otherwise, not too much to say. Let's have a look here and see if I can't find our top of descent point. 658 miles, 1911 Zulu. So that is, it's about an hour and a half from now, pretty much. 90 more minutes to go till we reach our top of descent point. So we're gonna have to, make sure we're here probably by about 1845. So. We're just waiting for these pumps to shut off once this tank runs dry here, which is going to be about another 10 to 12 minutes, and then that'll be it. So, what else is new? Not too much else in the flight sim world. Waiting for more airplanes to come to the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, but otherwise not too much going on. What else? I picked up a new game the other day. It was kind of interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. It's on sale on Steam. It's called StationFLOW. It's a kind of a cute little game. Basically, you just kind of create. It's a bit of a sandbox SimCity kind of style thing where you create basically your own underground station. You just have to kind of link together different platforms, on different levels and different exits, to try and make a station that's efficient, that has the services that people require. It's a very simplistic kind of game, but it's kind of a lot of fun though, because the whole concept behind it is fairly simplistic. But when you start to deal with a whole bunch of different platforms on different levels, obviously you can't burrow through the train tracks. You have to go over or under them. It becomes a little bit of a challenge. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Anyways, I got someone to. I got someone who recommended it to me, and I saw it was on sale, so I thought, oh, what the heck? And it's surprisingly addictive right now. So if I can just find it here. It's got very simplistic graphics, which is kind of nice because then it really lets you focus on what you're doing, and you kind of let your imagination fly as to how your station kind of would look with walls and tiles and everything. But it's a cute little game. It's on sale right now for, what is it, $14? Full price it might be, regular price it might be almost too much, but certainly in the let's just do that. No, is it gonna start? Yeah. Certainly for the lower price, it's pretty fun. Like I said, it's kind of, you start off like very simple, and then it just grows and grows and grows, and you don't know where things are going to be ahead of time, so you don't know where the where the next track is going to appear. So you create your station based on what you've got, and then as you grow, it adds up it adds more exits and more tracks, and then you have to sort of redesign your station to kind of meet those requirements. But construction, one of the neat things is construction takes time. Look at all these mad people here. Construction takes time, so you can't just instantly change a corridor. If you want to change something, you either have to do it overnight when nothing's happening, or you have to put an alternate path in while you kind of fiddle with the corridor that you want to change. So it's a simple game, but it's surprisingly addictive. Like I said, the graphics fairly simplistic, but that is part of, I think, the charm of it. Is you're just trying to. It's more about just sort of quite a bit of an imagination. But also because like all the individuals, like they all have individual needs, they're all individual sprites. It allows the game to run very quickly and smoothly, even with thousands of passengers in your station, each with their own needs and wants that they're looking for, whether it be food or healthcare or tickets or who knows what, or just trying to get to their exit as quickly as possible. So simplistic little game, but I've really been enjoying it. Yeah. Picked it up for, like I said, it's on sale on Steam right now. Picked it up, and it's just a fun little game. It doesn't take you very long to get into it, and you find yourself constantly tweaking things, following people around and constantly tweaking things. And if you're one of those kind of OCD people, there are lots of good when you're building with it. There's lots of good construction guides. You can basically build a station of any shape. You can drag the nodes, the edges of your platform around to any shape, but there are also like little guidelines that will help you snap things up. So if you like things to be nice and square and parallel, it'll kind of snap into some square and parallel places. But if you want to just create hallways of all sorts of weird jagged shapes, you can do that too. So if you've ever sort of wondered when you're on the subway, why do I have to go up 3 flights of stairs to go down 2 flights of stairs to get to the next platform? It kind of gives you a little perspective on what it's like when you have to work around like other tracks and physical constraints of the landscape. There's not too many physical constraints. There are a few. There are some random rocks that are placed that are immovable objects that you have to work around. For the most part, you can build a tunnel almost anywhere. But then it's also just a question of building it efficiently. There is a little bit of a budget. I've never managed to really have too much difficulty in blowing through the budget on the normal difficulty, in keeping it in the black. I've never had any difficulty keeping it in the black. The passengers pay you revenue. You have to pay upkeep depending on how big your station is, how many tiles it takes up. But I found that the revenue vastly surpasses the expenses. I have so much money I can't even begin to fathom. Like I can build huge amounts of platforms and hallways without any problem anymore. So. But you can crank up the difficulty. You can also crank up. It's got some sliders, so you can crank up, like raise the cost, lower the revenue, so make it a little bit more challenging. But certainly in the normal difficulty level, it's not hard from a financial perspective. There are some limitations, but it's not very hard. Excuse me. It does have a nice user interface for the construction too. You can place down all sorts of different platforms. So if I go into the user interface here, what it looks like. I think it's one of these screenshots here. So this is what it would look like if you were under construction and all this. So the white stuff is built, and then the blue stuff is kind of your proposed stuff, and you can propose as much stuff as you want, and then once you're happy with everything's lined up, so you can remove any of these things at no cost while you're still in kind of the planning phase. Once you're happy with all your blueprints, then you click the build button, and it takes time to build them all, but it builds them all. So really nice for kind of making sure everything lines up. You don't have to destroy stuff if it doesn't line up anymore, as long as you're still in this blueprint phase. So I find that is really nice. That blueprint, it's very useful. You can really take your time and perfect things. Totally unrelated to aviation, but just something I picked up. I don't have a whole lot else. There's not a whole lot else happening in the aviation world right now. I mean, it's funny because the American airlines are really starting to hire like crazy now. They're not crazy, but most of the American airlines are back into a hiring mode, and they're hoping for a good summer of travel. Canada's quite a bit behind the 8 ball on this, although I think we're up to about 25 to 30% of our population's gotten at least a dose, at least one dose. We're getting there slowly in Canada, but I don't think that this summer is going to be much of a recovery for aviation at the rate it's going with the surges, with a third wave happening, and then the vaccinations are just not picking up fast enough. And they're getting ambitious now, and it's kind of nice. Like, they've been targeting the older populations and more vulnerable populations, but by the end of the month, supposedly most places in Canada will be vaccinating every adult. Every eligible adult every adult will be eligible to be vaccinated, which is good. I mean, it's still going to take some time to get through all the age brackets. And they're also looking at doing children soon, which is great as well. I think Pfizer's already approved for 16 and 17-year-olds, and I think they're in the middle of a trial for 12 and up. So, by the time those trials are done, the adults will be mostly vaccinated, and we'll be able to move on to vaccinating children as well. So, the one unfortunate thing, I think, is that they're not going back to school this year. I feel like the kids might be home from school for the rest of the school year until June. I don't see them going back. The numbers are sort of plateauing, but they're definitely not showing much of a retreat at this point, and I think they would need to see a good retreat before they start sending the kids back to school. So I hate to say it, I really hope they go back, because it's really good for them to be in school. I mean, last year when they were out of school for 6 straight months, they were going insane, and they really need, that peer interaction, and it's hard to get it at home, especially when you're younger kids. When you get into the upper end of elementary school and into high school level, then obviously you've got your friends' contacts, you can text them and phone them and whatnot. But when you're younger kids, especially the first few grades, you don't really have contact information for your friends. You see them at school, but you don't really, outside of school, you don't really see them too much. You don't usually chat with them on the phone and whatnot, so you really don't. So for them, especially for the younger kids, they really did not have any interaction with their peer group for a long time. So I think it's probably not going to happen, but I would really hope that that does, because again, it's such a long period of time to be without their peers when they're used to having them around. 2 months in the summer is sort of okay, but 6 months, it's half a year. It's a long time to be without a peer group. Anyways, I'm hoping they go back to school. Don't know if it's going to happen, but it certainly made streaming during the day a little bit easier. And I wouldn't do it necessarily every day, but at least, I wouldn't have to be worried about supervising school. When school is on right now, I spend as much time supervising school as anybody else, just to make sure things get done, and if there's technical difficulties, I have to be ready for it. So streaming really during school hours is just not going to happen when they're homeschooling. So, anyways. Almost there. We got about 200 pounds more in that center tank. We can shut it off, and then I think we are going to step away again, because, frankly, not much is happening. So we'll aim to come back at probably about no later than 18:45, which would give us about a 20-minute period of time to set up for our arrival into Victoria. So much for my 10 viewer challenge today. My goal was to have 10 plus viewers today, and I said I'd do a failure if I got 10 plus viewers. Well, didn't even come close to that yet. I think the most I saw out there was about 6 at one point. And nobody's very chatty either, which is the other thing. So nobody's really chatting, nobody's really talking about it. If you guys talk it up and get 10 viewers in here at the same time, then maybe on the way into Vancouver we can have a failure, but nobody's being very chatty today. I'm just trying to think what else. As far as next streams, probably the next Pilot's Life leg will not happen until next weekend again. Like I said, during the week just does not work anymore, so it'll probably be next Saturday will most likely be the next leg of a Pilot's Life career. And then probably again on Thursday night you can plan on seeing some live ATC on VATSIM. Thursday night tends to work well. Friday night's usually a little bit busier, but I like to go and fly on Friday night. I enjoy flying the FNOs, so I tend to pick out those FNOs and try to fly on those days instead rather than control. But maybe I should try to control during an FNO. If there's something close to Toronto too, or something, or one of the Canadian airports, I could do that. Let's have a look at the events calendar here and just see what the what next week's FNO is. Not that calendar, that calendar. Let's see here. Triple Crown FNO. So, Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes. SDF, BWI, and JFK. Interesting trio of airports. So, there we go. There's the first fuel pump. Nothing particularly close to Canada that's probably going to lure in too many FNOers, but I feel more inclined to fly that. Alright, we got one pump dry, the other pump should be dry any second now, and then we're going to step away for the next 45 minutes again because just not much is happening. I don't see any ATC online. Let's check one more time. Nothing. We're pretty much, I think we're through Salt Lake Center and we're just about entering Seattle Center. And as of yet, no Seattle controller online, no Vancouver controller online. Yes, we do have Vancouver controller online, but we don't have Seattle online. So, yeah. Hopefully those guys will still be there. The center controller's been on for a while, but the departure controller's only been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. So another hour, and there's a good chance he will still be there. So we're hoping that he will be there when we arrive. And we'll actually get some ATC for once, because the last couple legs have been pretty sparse on the ATC, unfortunately. And it's just sort of a little bit the nature of the way things go in this business, especially when I'm trying to stream daytime, and ATC tends to be more of an evening feature. But now that we're also getting into summer, it also helps. Because in the summer... Oh, there goes that fuel pump. Didn't see the caution light come on, though. So now that we're getting into summer, it stays light a lot later, so I can plan my streams to be quite a bit later. I could probably plan an evening stream, actually, for the next one, for the Victoria, Vancouver, Winnipeg leg. Because let's just have a little look-see here. How long would Vancouver to Winnipeg take here? I'm guessing it's about a 3-hour flight. Something along those lines, anyways. Just looking it up here on SimBrief really quick, just putting in a hypothetical. Let's see. And I'm assuming the 737. 2 hours and 50, actually. Okay, so that's not too bad. Yeah, that's like a 3... So it's about a 2.5 hour airtime. Yeah, I mean we can probably make this work. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, we could probably make it more of an afternoon to evening flight. Winnipeg's a little bit early. It gets dark a little earlier because it's a little farther east, but we could still make it probably an evening flight, so maybe we'll be able to pick up a bit better ATC, get a few more viewers as well when people are more likely to be watching. But anyways, I think that's it for me for now, because like I said, not much is happening, no ATC, so we're going to step away again, and we'll be back again in about, well, let's see here. So it'll be about 45 minutes, yeah, we'll be here by 18:45 to start setting up for that arrival into Victoria. In the meantime, guys, I do appreciate you watching, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys all back here real soon.
Sorry, I know I messed up. You can go back. I
Alright folks, it's Captain Nads back in the flight deck once again. Thank you very much for joining me on our flight to Victoria, and we are reaching the end game here folks. We are reaching end game. We are going to be descending into Victoria here in about 15 or 20 minutes I believe here. Let's just, oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's just go take a look here at our top of drop. It says 1910, and so that's about 25 minutes from now, so we got a little bit of time still till our top of descent point, but we are in it now for the long haul here. So we are going to get ourselves organized for our arrival into Victoria, and then we're going to do it. That's what we're going to do. Get my chat channel up here so anybody who is watching, I can see you. Hey, there we go. Alright, perfect. So, let's see. We are coming up over LTJ. We're going to turn northeastbound here. We're going to cross over Seattle eventually here. There's our top of descent point. Pretty much right overhead Seattle. So I don't know if we're going to get Seattle Center online now. I'm pretty sure we're in airspace. Haven't seen them yet. The thing that surprised me, and I was just looking at it, Vancouver Center is still online. Victoria, or Vancouver Terminal logged off. They were on for a couple of hours, probably about 2 hours, and then they logged off. Vancouver Center still online. Haven't bailed yet. Hoping they don't bail on us now, but they've been on for about 4:20, so the odds of them being on for another hour are not great unless they're really trying to pull like a marathon, like 6-hour session here, which I'm pretty skeptical about. But fingers crossed. Maybe they will. Maybe they will be there when we get there. I'm not going to say it can't happen. Just a little healthy skepticism on my part. So we're going to get ourselves set up here for our arrival into Victoria. Starting with Windsor Com. Alright, so let's do that. Let's do the winds we're supposed to swing around. Let's just actually check. See if we got an updated forecast here. What am I looking for? So if I bring up my Sim Toolkit Pro again here. There we are, we're almost there. For some reason I thought we were in Victoria when it started the flight. I don't know, it was glitchy. But there we are, yeah, we're just coming up almost to Beam Portland here very shortly, and then we'll be over to Seattle into Victoria. What I wanted to do was just, if I can bring myself to the bottom corner here, and again, so the winds are calm now. I just want to check the TAF and see if it's been revised, see if it's going to stay this way here. They're calling for winds out of the west, and between 18 and 20 Zulu, swinging around to be out of the east. So I really am sort of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other here in terms of setting it up now. I was going to set up 09. I think I might set up 27. So let's do that. Let's go to show landing. Let's show en route. Airport search. Copy FMC data. There we go. Except that we're going to switch this to runway 27. We're going to go dry conditions today. We're going to show the keyboard here. Calm winds. Temperatures 13 degrees in Victoria and a QNH of 30.23. And then let's just check our FMC here to get a landing weight of 118.3. Let's say no credit, flaps 30, air conditioning on, but the anti-ice off, brakes, we're going to do auto brake 2, I'll set it in a second while I'm thinking about it, and there are no non-normal conditions. Calculate, and while it's calculating quickly, level 2 set. Alright, so landing is required, 6,500, landing is available 6,900, so it's not pretty close with no credit. Now if we put the reverse credit on there, that's going to give us a fair bit more, so we should be good for calm wind. I wouldn't want to take much of a tailwind. Oh, what the heck, let's just recalculate with the thrust reversers operational. Even then, 6,300 feet. Maybe we do flap 40. Just to kind of hedge our bets on takes it down to 5,900. That gives at least a 1,000-foot margin. So yeah, let's do that. We'll do flap 40 landing today. And while we're at it, while I'm thinking about it, let's just start setting this up here for the arrival. So let's set up our FS2 crew for the arrival. And so start, we're going to do landing flap 40, conditions dry, auto brake 2 SDX, yes, single engine taxi to gate, and just delay the start, yeah, that's fine. It's not a very long taxi in there, and we're just going to need some altitudes here to fill this out, so let's go ahead and go to our terminal charts, and let's go ahead and get some stuff going on here. So we're not going to do the disco, we'll load it up anyways just in case we want it. And then what we really want to know is ILS. So I'm going to put ILS 09 and ILS 27 in there. I'm planning the ILS 27, but it's possible we'll switch it around to 09 if the winds do shift before we get there. So we got about 45 minutes. Winds are calm. It could happen. I'm really just kind of uncertain over whether or not it's going to happen. So final approach fixed altitude 1400. Let's see, minimum's 257. And then the missed approach altitude will have to go to 3,500. Alright, so there we go. So that's all set up in there, and we can start setting up the rest of this there. So we've got, again, let's go back to our performance calculation here. So we were showing a ref of 131 at flap 40, and which makes sense if we got, 126. So VREF of 126 plus 5 is 131. So 131 will be our approach speed, and auto brake 3 would be an option, and you can still land at flaps 30. Yeah, and I was debating that. I was debating whether to do auto brakes 3 or flap 40. So I'm going to go with flaps 40, save a little bit of wear and tear on the brakes. But yeah, I thought about that too. I considered that. And just for sake of argument, you know, I mean, it cost me nothing at all to run the calculation. Auto brake 3 actually makes more of a difference than the flaps 30, than the flaps 40 did. Now that you pointed out, yeah, even that took it down to 5,000. So it really is the auto brake. If we want to really make it certain, and I tend to kind of float a little bit. You know what? I'm going to go with that. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do flaps 3. And thank you, West Coast Canuck, for that. I appreciate that. I haven't had too many airports I've taken this plane to yet where it's really been kind of distance constrained. I really have not. WestJet flies to a lot of major big airports, so generally you're dealing with 8,000 or 9,000 foot runways, and 7,000 feet is a perfectly decent runway, but even at this lightweight for it to be using that much runway. So auto brake 3. Yeah, we'll go with auto brake 3 and flap 30. So let me just reconfigure that again here so he knows what we're doing. Auto brake 3, flap 30. Yeah, I kind of looked at it both ways. I was, the way I look at the flap versus the auto brake, the flap saves me wear and tear on the brakes. But then again, it's more wear and tear on the flaps. Which part do you want to wear out more, right? Which part costs the airline less to replace? I think a flap 40 landing will be less overall wear than an increase in the brake level, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't even know if they have the carbon brakes on this or still the steel brakes. Alright, regardless, I'm going to switch this around now for runway 27 because we don't seem to have... I'll switch this around for... Oops, glide slope on. Yep, didn't even double click that. And we'll do the Lerlo transition, which I think is the straight in transition. So let's go back to the charts here, and let's just make sure that Lerlo is the straight in transition. So yeah, so we'll use Lerlo as a transition. No need to go to the way to YYJ. In real life, we'd get some vectors around to make it a lot easier. Alright, so we've got that in there. We need minimum sets. We set 257, I think, right? 257, yep. It's too far. There we go, 257, that's set. And then, we just need to get those frequencies in there. So 109.95 and 269. 109.95. That's one, and 109.95 set twice, 269, 269. Set course on your side, 269. Oh, still win. I gave him a head start and I still won. Oh, I always love that silly game. Alright. We're getting there now. Covering the ground pretty fast here, which is great. Good, good, good. Gonna be there before we know it. Are you ready for the approach briefing?
I am ready.
Okay, so today we don't have an arrival. We could do the disco arrival. It really wouldn't make too much of a difference to us. But we're not going to have an arrival. First of all, the speeds are in. Yep, and the landing distance was checked, and we are sufficient now on runway 27 there in Victoria. Let's see here. So like I said, so we're not going to follow the star. We're not on a star. We're just going to be Seattle direct to Victoria VOR, which is northwest, which is past the field. So at some point before that, we're just going to break off for a left downwind, or a left base, and onto final. Or hopefully ATC will still be there, and they will give us the, oh no! Oh no! And he left! I just looking over my vPilot window, and he finally logged off. No! I thought we were going to maybe have some ATC, but no. Nothing. Nothing! Denied again. Oh well, what can you do? I guess we're going to do it ourselves. So like I said, we'll set ourselves up at some point for a left base to Lurlo. We'll have to watch the MSAs. From the NDB, the sector will be in, it'll be 3,500 foot MSA, so that's actually not too bad to get to Lurlo at 3,500. The plate itself is 11-3, 2nd of October 2020, ILS runway 27 into Victoria, 109.95 and 269, 995, 995, and 269, set both sides. Glide slope at Dungey is 1,400, and the ILSDA is 257. I've got 257 set. Airport, or the touchdown zone at 57 feet, the airport at 64. And we got 50 feet there on the altitude, so that's good. The field elevation, and as I said, the MSA is the highest one around is 55 off to the northwest. To the southeast, the sector we're coming from, 3,500. That's based on the YJ NDB, which is right here on final. So we'll pretty much turn final in that quadrant. The missed approach is climb track 269 to the Millbrook MB NDB, and then Mill Bay, sorry, and then direct to Ebgip, then a climbing right turn to 3,500 on a track of 043 to the active pass NDB. So 3,500 is the missed approach altitude. Straight ahead, 269 till we get to Mill Bay, so we pass this terrain, and then a right turn direct to the active pass, which is over here somewhere. Let's make sure that's all programmed in there so we can fly it on the FMS the easy way if we have to. So we got Lurlo, Lafo, Dungey at 1,400 is there, and then Mill Bay NDB, Ebkep, and Active Pass NDB 3,500. So that's all there. Lots of notes here. So this is a restricted instrument procedure, probably because of the amount of terrain you have to be familiar with this airport, or because it requires a minimum climb gradient after in the go-around if I have to do a go-around. We'll say we have permission to do this. Safe altitude for 100 miles is 12,800. Approach not authorized when CYA 145 is active above 2,500. So it's off there to the northeast. No restricted airspace in VATSIM. Localized reliable only within 15 degrees centerline. Aircraft weight shall not be greater than that necessary to meet the published climb gradient. We are super light today, 118,000 pounds for our landing weight, so I think we'll be fine. When computing the aircraft weight, corrections will be made for the pressure, altitude, original ambient temperature, wind components, blah blah blah. Pilot control lighting on 19.7. Let's see here. So if we go into the go-around, we do even do 200 knots. We still only need about 170 feet per minute to make that. So. Yeah, so that's that. We do have a 3-degree glide slope, Pappies on the left, SSALR lighting system. In reality, it's daytime and it's VMC, so I don't expect any of that's going to be turned on, but we will have Pappies on the left. And a 3-degree glide slope, RVR 2,600 half miles, kind of irrelevant today. And did I load the airport diagram? We did. So the terminal's down here at the south side of the field, so we'll land runway 27. Plan to hopefully exit by Golf. If we miss Golf, it'll be Echo back to Golf. And then we'll take Golf 03 Bravo into the apron. We'll find a place to park. Restricted to commercial traffic only, exceptions require prior approval of the airport operator. 27 departures, arrivals. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. We're going to be doing full length anyway, so I don't see any other notes that really affect us on there. And that's it. So terrain, again, high terrain, especially west of the field, also some high terrain north of the field. So the sector we're coming from is the best. If we do have to do a missed approach, we'll follow the published miss unless we're VMC and we can see where all that terrain is. Weather is expected to be VMC. The only thing that's really throwing me today is whether or not there's going to be a wind shift. And that could be detrimental, especially if it's just be a tailwind on final with relatively performance constrained. I may run the calculations with a 10 knot tailwind here in a minute. Weather, operational, let's just check. We got MELs. Nothing is malfunctioning on this airplane. Everything is functioning properly. Let's just check the MELs today. No TAMs. So Victoria, departure frequency is unserviceable. Echo between threshold 27 and taxiway whiskey closed. So threshold of 27 and whiskey closed. So this part right here is closed. Doesn't affect us right now landing this direction. ARFF, we don't care too much. LDA for land and hold short ops. Don't really care too much about 3-2, 1432. Doesn't really affect us at all. And missed approach for the RNAV Yankee 27. Now we're not doing that one either. So I think we are all good. There's nothing nothing affecting us there in the NOTAMs. And that's about it. Fuel situation. So again, we need about 5,000 to get. I think we need about 4,000 or even 3,000 to get to Vancouver. We're coming in with 11.6, or sorry, 10.0. We got tons of extra fuel. At least 5 tons of extra fuel, so we can hold for an hour. Definitely do a go around, come back and try again with no issues whatsoever. That's basically it for my approach briefing. Oh, I never asked him. Are you ready for the approach briefing?
I am ready.
Any questions?
Not today.
And that's basically it. So that's our approach briefing. West Coast Canuck, yeah. Part of the reason why I'm flying the sim as much as I am is to keep myself in the mindset, and part of that is doing an approach briefing properly, not just program in an ILS frequency and I hope it works, but properly doing it and considering everything that might affect us. And that's why I'm considering this tailwind here. Like, the winds are calm now, they're forecast to swing to be out of the east. So I'm going to do I'm going to recalculate this with a 10 knot tailwind component. So winds out of 090 at 10. And if we can still do it at 090 at 10, 10 knot tailwind, that gets us up to 5,800. So yeah, even if the wind swings around at the last minute, it shouldn't be an issue for us. So that'll give us a 5,800 foot landing roll with 10 knot tailwind. So I think we'll be okay even with 10 knot tailwind. So there we go. That's it. We got everything set up, and we got about 40 miles still till our top of descent point. Perfect. Love it. Everything is all set up. The only thing that disappoints me, I'm not surprised at all though, Vancouver logged off. But again, no surprise whatsoever. They were there for probably about 5 hours. So I think they did their bit. They logged their time. Not going to fault anyone for logging off after spending 5 hours online as a controller. I'm just going to hope somebody else pops on before we get there. We got 30 minutes. What are the odds someone's going to pop on in the next 30 minutes? Not great. Not unless someone is actually watching my stream and says, hey, I can help out, I can do that. Oh, it just hasn't been good luck with ATC. Just the times I pick to fly early in the day, on the weekends, it just doesn't work. But it's because these legs are so long too, like I need to get them kind of done earlier in the day. It's sort of just with everything that happens in my life, it's just more compatible for my schedule. Later in the day would be more of a challenge to get them done and to be here for the whole length of these legs. So I'm looking forward to flying the CRJ and doing some 1 to 2 hour legs, and then I can easily try to shift the streams to, I think, more popular times, because I think that's my biggest problem, is I'm just streaming at unpopular times. People just generally have more time in the evenings for enjoying their hobbies. Daytime is for doing work, evening is for hobbies, and I'm not on time, and I'm not on that evening time. Unless you're European, then you can come and enjoy my evening streams, or even Middle Eastern demographics. Kind of glad it's May. It's a bit of a pity. It's been just kind of chilly lately. It's been raining kind of on and off. It's raining this morning. It's kind of cleared up a little bit now. It stopped raining anyways. It's still kind of gray and dreary out there. It's been very dreary. Yesterday was not a bad day, actually. Got some outdoor project time done, but don't hesitate on me, Sim. You get me worried, you're gonna crash on me. Oh Lord. Here we go. We're coming up to the sound here. Coming up to Puget Sound. I am in the Eastern time zone, actually, yeah. So flying West Coast is actually not. It's it's almost a little bit challenging because I tend to stream earlier in the day for me, but sometimes it ends up being almost pre-dawn when I start these streams in the on the West Coast. So having this West Coast hub is not really working very well for me right now. But it's just these legs are so long too. Like all the legs that I have done lately in my pilot's life career. Let's pull it up here, shall we? We can pull it up this way. So get rid of that, and let's do this. But they've all almost been without fail long legs. I was racking up the hours on this airplane now. I've got 60 hours in this airplane, which for a 3.7 is pretty good here. Yeah, so anyway, so here is, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so it's a little bit more obvious, but so here is what this airplane has done. And most of this was my pilot's life career, so long legs here. I did, let's see, we did Edmonton, Winnipeg, and back, and then we did Toronto, Orlando, and back, and then we did, what else did we do? I've forgotten. And then I think we did Fort St. John, Puerto Vallarta, Vancouver, back to Puerto Vallarta, like all long legs here, like all like 4 to 5 hour legs all the time. I'm looking forward to flying some shorter legs, and then I can probably stream, be a little bit more flexible when I do my streams. Yeah, so this, Sim Toolkit Pro is technically still in beta. It absolutely is, but it's still very functional. I think the only reason they say it's in beta is because they're constantly kind of implementing and upgrading the features. So like flight summary is new. It's a beta here of what it looks like, and you can kind of see your flight and see your your flight plan and where you are, and so they're constantly adding new features. So that's the reason why it's in beta. Most of the functionality of this is fairly solid. There's not too many problems with the live map, with the tracking. So I just use the SimConnect API. I think the SimConnect API is a little less cumbersome than FSUIPC. I think it's got a little bit less overhead. The only thing about Sim Toolkit Pro is she is a bit of a resource hog, and now something's hogging my resources. I notice my frame rate's kind of dropping here, so yeah, Sim Toolkit Pro is a bit of a resource hog at times. So is Firefox, for that matter. I'm going to close some of my Firefox windows that I don't need to have open because I have way too many of them open right now. There we go. Close some of those. Maybe that'll buy me back some performance. Because all of a sudden I just noticed like it's really kind of hesitating here, and it wasn't hesitating a lot before. I think this is also the problem here. But yeah, I was having issues. When I was getting set up for the sim this morning, and I have a checklist that I run, but I got disrupted in my checklist by the fact that I was having errors, so I kept on restarting the sim, trying to get rid of the error. Alright, so I see us coming at the top descent, so let's get that in there. I'm going to go ahead all the way down to 10,000 for lack of anything better right now. Lack of any better instructions. But yeah, no, I like Sim Toolkit Pro, and most of the functionality of it works really quite well. One thing I haven't done here, and I might try it here if you're willing to experiment with me a little bit, is I can hook up a TwitchBot. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can do it. Which is just, it's a little bit fun, but it works in the chat. So let me just see if I can get this to work here. I was gonna actually set it up, and then I got distracted by the fact that my things were not working properly for me this morning. But let's see if I can set this up here. Alright, let's try it. Let's turn this on and see if this works here. So now we are supposed to have a TwitchBot in the channel here. I don't know if this worked properly or not. Let me see if I just double check this. It may not work properly. set up correctly. Give me 1 second. Let's try it one more time. Aha! I got my TwitchBot to join me there. Haha! Now, if you type in a couple different commands, he is supposed to answer with different commands there. Oh, and there's our top of descent point. Down we go. So if you want to give it a try, you can type in !ETE, what else do I have here? Route, depart, arrive, and METAR. So you can type in route, you can type in depart to see the departure airport, arrive to see the arrival airport, and what was the other one you can see here? Sorry, I've never used this before. Oh, you can do METAR too. So !METAR and then type in an ICAO, and it should retrieve a METAR for you. Hey, there you go. It does work. Interesting, neat. And the other thing you can predict is you can predict my landing rate. Type in !predict. And you can predict what the landing rate's going to be on this, and it'll report who the closest guess would be when we after the landing is measured. So I've never used this before. I've thought about this. I noticed this last time, and then I forgot to turn it on because I was getting preoccupied again with my tech issues, which is just annoying. And I'm not trying to bitch about it, but boy, it was really frustrated getting going today. So I forgot to even look at activating this. So there it goes. Now it's active. So yeah, if you want to put in a prediction of what you think my touchdown rate's going to be, you don't win anything more than bragging rights. Predict whether I'll hit the touchdown zone. Yeah, unfortunately, it's harder to measure the touchdown zone. The thing about predicting touchdown rates is touchdown rates are easy to measure. You can quantify it. The touchdown zone, it's a lot harder to kind of measure it because a lot of the runways, it's not like the touchdown zone marks are specifically drawn in the sim as like a location. They're just simply a texture, they're just a picture of the runway. So, yeah, that would be smart actually, and I guess Microsoft Flight Simulator went that way. But yeah, not something that I think is easy to measure in the sim. I don't think the SimConnect API would do a very good job of matching up what a touchdown zone is to and outputting it through the API, but whereas it can output vertical speeds and things like that very easily. So anyways, I mean, I think you can change your guess. I think if you want, you can change your guess to something else if you just put in predict again. So anyways, I don't know. I've never used this. This is the first time I've ever tried to use this. So just a little bit of fun, and I'll try to remember to run this with all my streams now because it seems like a fun little game to play. Alright, how are we doing here? I should probably actually do this. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization. Landing altitude is 50 feet. Recall checked. Auto brake level 3. Landing data. Heading 206 set.
Heading. Nope. Speed 126. Minimum's 257 feet set.
Checked. Approach briefing.
Complete.
Descent checklist complete.
Nice. Well done. Alright, we are on our way down. Just going to have a quick pop-up of the V-Pilot window. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, so we just crossed over Seattle there. Didn't even notice it. That's probably one of the reasons why the sim was hesitating, probably loading all that Dersvieki scenery on the ground as we were soaring right over it. But there we go. I believe that's Victoria right up there. And I believe the airport's just over there on the north side of town there. So we are getting there now. I can see our target there. I can see our destination. Altimeter 3023. Thank you. You know what? And let's set that right now because we're going to transition very shortly here. Thank you for that. There it goes. 3023. And we might as well set this one now because we're not tracking this one anyway, so we can set it early here. There it is, 3023 set.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
And here we go. Whew, that was a bit of a long slog today, but we got her done. Next one's going to be super short, just Victoria to Vancouver, but not today. I've done enough streaming for the day when this is over, and we will be logging off. But it's been kind of fun, actually. Farewell, America. Hello, Canada. All right. We are up on Unicom, right? We are 22.8, so we'll make some calls. I'm not sure if there's anyone. I'm just going to spin around really quickly and check my VATSIM window to see what's going on over there. Just to see if anybody... there was one airplane that landed in Victoria, so there is one guy on the ground in Victoria. I don't see anybody else inbound besides us, though. Alright. .3023 set. Altimeter 3023 set. Let's see. Do I have a stream schedule? I am kind of ad hoc. I will sometimes just take advantage of random things, but as I've started to build up a bit more of a following now, I've started to sort of post my stream schedule a bit more here because people want to know ahead of time, and so I tend to do sort of the same schedule right now. I'm in a bit of a rut, so I tend to do kind of Thursday night I do an ATC stream, and usually either Saturday or Sunday morning I do a flight. But I do have a Discord. There's not much happening in my Discord, but I do post my schedule in there. So I usually try to find my schedule a couple of days in advance, and I'm just trying to make an invite here. There we go. Give me 1 second. I just got to post it into the stream here. So there you are. So I have a Discord server where I just its biggest goal is just to sort of provide a place where I can post the schedule a couple days ahead of time, and so anyone who wants to know when the streams are coming up can check it ahead of time and find out. So that's really the biggest use of my Discord at this point, is just a schedule posting, because sometimes I know in advance, sometimes it's just sort of sometimes it is just ad hoc. I just take advantage of, I had some time available, and I do something, and I try to get online to do a stream. We are heading right for that cloud. At 7 degrees, it's not going to quite cut it. Yeah, and well, you know what actually we should do here, because we're pretty much entering the point, we're going to cross the border there, that little CFQWB waypoint that doesn't spell anything, is where we're actually going to cross the border. So, what I can do, and let's actually keep that descent going at this point. There's 5,000. Here comes the speed back now for the 250 speed limit. So we'll do a heading of 010 just after we cross the border and we've entered Canadian airspace. So Seattle comes online, they won't be able to yell at us. And that might just miss that cloud. I think we're still going to fly into it. I think I'm still going to need some anti-ice. Alright, we got heading mode. Let's go ahead and get the anti-ice on here for a second. And let's go ahead and level change it down here. And we're actually going to need to really turn and burn here, expedite my descent. And I wasn't thinking about this. I was originally planning to come around for runway 09, so my descent is a little higher than where it should be. And you should be 250. No, I did set speed 250. That was my bad. I am severely exceeding that speed limit. Shoot. All right. Approach checklist.
Altimeters.
3023 set.
3023 set. Approach checklist complete.
We're within that 25-mile range, so we can go ahead and set 35. And I'm going to widen out a little bit more because I need some room to get down here. I botched this a little bit here because I was expecting to do. I was expecting to come around for 09, and I didn't revamp my VNav. Should have put the disco arrival in there and followed that down. But anyways, that's 3,500 feet. Yeah, that won't be too bad. We'll just widen out a little bit here just to make sure we're going to be okay. We got full boards out now. Keep the descent going a little bit here. Can't see from that angle. There you go. That's full boards. But I think we'll be okay. I think, yeah, we're just going to make this down. It's going to be alright, even with the anti-ice on right now. And that was the other thing that's kind of messing with me here, is I had to turn on the anti-ice just because of where we are here. Although we're at 8 degrees, so I might be able to turn the anti-ice off in another minute or so here. So much for not using the boards. I try not to use the boards, but yeah, I did not properly plan that descent. And let me just pull up my Navigraph here really quickly. Or actually, I don't need to pull up my Navigraph. I can just put it up on here. I just want to see what the altitude inbound from Lurlo is there. So menu, terminal charts. Show me. Nope, not that one. 27. So Lurlo inbound, we can be down as low as 2,300. We don't intercept the glide slope at 2,300 until pretty close to Dungy, so yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay here. That's fine. Good stuff. Okay, so we can probably turn back inbound and intercept now.
Glide slope alive. Localizer alive.
We can probably bring the speed back to 210 rather than bring the power up. There we go. I'm going to shoot right through the localizer by mistake there. Just a little bit late making that turn, so let's go ahead and arm the approach. Victoria traffic, good afternoon. WestJet 2041 is joining about a 15-mile final runway 27. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
I really overshot more than I realized there. Turn my way back onto final here. There we go, that should do it. And see, temperature 13 degrees, we can kill the engine anti-ice. There we go, and there's the glide slope. Flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Oh, it's going to be very close to the double capture here. Alright, there we go. Low glide slope, perfect. Set Mr. Approach altitude 3,500. He did. I love it.
Check.
He checks that I love it. Alright, I can just barely make out the airport there in the fog up ahead there. But we're aimed right for it. There's the city of Victoria's down there, but the airport, I guess they had to go pretty far out of town to find some flat land around here. Could be a bit of a challenge sometimes in BC trying to build an airport. Finding flat land that doesn't have a mountain off the end of it, too. Alright, looking pretty good. We kind of overshot a little bit. It wasn't perfect, but we've gotten ourselves reestablished now, so I'd say we're doing pretty good here. And, still got the speed brakes open. We don't need those anymore. And that's why they always want you to keep your hands on the speed brake when you have them out, so that you don't forget that they're out, because it's so easy to forget and then never put them away, and you're just running against... then you're just running the engines against the speed brakes all the time, and you don't need that. Alright, so we overshot a little bit, but we are well established now with quite a bit of space to go here. We're looking pretty good. About a 7-mile final now. What was our target? Approach speed is 131. And let's do another just request that METAR one more time. 100 at 7. Yep. Swung around to be a tailwind. Not showing too much wind on here at least, but... Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 20. Flaps 20.
Flaps 25.
I can never remember what the flap settings are in all the different airplanes. So many airplanes to fly sometimes.
Fine approach fix. Height checked. Missed approach altitude set.
Flaps 30.
Flaps 30.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
Armed.
Not stable. Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
Flaps 30. Green light.
Landing checklist complete.
Cleared. Landing.
Check.
Victoria traffic. WestJet 2041 is on a 2-mile final runway 27. Alright, looking pretty good.
Checked.
Autopilot coming out.
Check.
Oh, it's right there. Come on. There it is.
Speed brake up. Reversers normal.
Don't want to miss that touchdown zone by too much on this one. Yep, I think we're rolling all the way to the end on this. Alright, there's 60 knots.
60 knots. Check.
Wow, we really did use most of that runway. Thank God for the auto brake 3.
Auto brake disarmed.
Yeah, that's one of the first times I think I've used almost the entire runway on the landing. Yeah, with that, even with flaps 40, that would have been tight. That was a good call. Thank you for that, to do the auto brakes 3. Victoria traffic, WestJet 2041 is clear of runway 27 and will be taxiing via backtrack runway 03 to the apron. Okay to clean up. Alright, I can't see the message, so how did we do for that touchdown rate prediction there? Landing recorded at -107, nice. I guess I win. Yeah, that was and it was pretty good approach, and it was pretty stable, and then yeah, just that last little bit, it just floated. I think it must have been like 5 feet above the runway, and just kind of overdid it a little bit. I tend to overdo it just a lot. Just often I overdo it just a little bit. It feels like we're coming down too fast, and then I kind of pull back, and there's no subtlety without feedback in the controls. That's one of the things I find about sims in general, is there is no subtlety in the flight controls. It's sort of, it's either you're putting in an input or you're not. And I kind of, and I understand that, like, there's obviously no force feedback, so you can't feel it, but yeah, like, without that force feedback, it's hard to do things, like I said, subtly. It's just, it's all or nothing kind of thing. And actually, I think what we'll do is we'll just keep this easy when we'll backtrack runway 32 around the apron. Or can we do it on, yeah, well, no, we'll go down golf here. I see that other traffic on the ground there still. Okay, so we killed all that. Nope, you didn't kill all landing lights. I guess it's my job. There we go. Done. Got the taxi light. I hate the turn off lights on too when we're taxiing. Okay, yeah, auto throttle's off. That's fine. We don't need the auto throttle anymore. Well, one thing I didn't do actually was I didn't pick a gate for arrival here, so let's pick that right now. We'll go to gate 1. I feel important. No, we don't need to follow me. We'll find it. There's not too many gates here. We'll find it. We just had to get over to the terminal. Did it really show up even before I touched down? But okay, but here's the thing. There we go. Clear on the left. Clear on the left.
Clear right.
Victoria traffic, WestJet 2041 is backtracking runway 03 on the way to the terminal. The thing is, of course, you got to realize there's a lag in the stream. There's always a lag. It's you know, anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds. But the bot does not have that lag. The bot that runs on my computer that is monitoring the landing rate has no lag. So he posted it as soon as he saw the landing rate, even though you guys didn't see the landing for an additional 30 seconds after that because of the delay. That's why it popped up before I even landed. This is my first time using it, so at least I'm going to figure out that's why. Like, I wasn't watching, I was obviously focused on what I was doing, so I didn't see that. I saw kind of a whole bunch of stuff scroll through the chat window in the corner of my eye, but I was obviously too focused on actually landing to actually do it here, to actually read it as it was going. But yeah, it's kind of fun though. You know, if I actually get a couple of people in the chat next time, hopefully we'll be able to get a few people to try and make these guesses. Oh, I should have the strobe on for the backtrack. Oh well, too late now. We're pretty much done the backtracking. Sitting here getting distracted. Start the APU, please.
Starting APU.
Welcome to Victoria. And this is freeware scenery, so this goes to show that freeware, that you don't have to pay money to get good scenery. Like, this is not bad for freeware. You know, I mean, the buildings looks like custom models for all the buildings. Looks like at least a little bit of custom texturing, perhaps. And so this looks like everybody's waiting for me here. Lights and doors.
Check.
Two, three, four. Yep.
Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check.
I have a marshaller down there. Oh yeah,
Doors
there he is.
disarmed, no APU.
It's coming. It's coming. It's almost fired. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. Generators are off bus, which means the APU is on. And here comes the jet bridge on its own. Nice. Just waiting for this guy to finish his shutdown for flow, and then we call for the checklist, and then we're done. There we go. Bridge is on. These guys are on it. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Please connect external power.
Roger. Connecting the GPU.
This guy's got to turn off fuel pumps and hydraulics and anti-ice and everything. Takes a minute to get all this stuff done here. I just turn off the engine and I'm done. My job is the easy one. There we go. See, I mean, it's not like the highest quality scenery I've ever seen, but it's a very good representation. It certainly gets me in the mood of being at a smaller airport, and having the working jetway. Better than default scenery. I'll give it that any day of the week here. Yeah, some custom models anyway, so, the guy obviously took some effort to go and do this. Shutdown checklist. Shutdown checklist. Come on, buddy. Shutdown checklist.
Captain, the GPU is connected.
Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, off. Probe heat, off. Hydraulic panel, set. Flaps, up. Parking brake.
Set.
Engine start levers,
Cut off.
weather radar,
Off.
off. Shutdown checklist complete.
Alright, and that's it. So we got the GPU connected, we're shutting down the APU, and we're done. Everyone's unloading. And away we go. That's it. Oh, why did the why did the bridge go away, darn you? There we go. Bring it back again. I think the bridge automatically triggered when we pulled up, and then the GSX, I think, cycled it a second time. So, but anyways, there we go. We are here. We have made it to Victoria. Another leg done. There's the nice overview of the beautiful Victoria Airport for me. Love it. And yeah, that's not a bad looking airport. It's pretty good. I didn't pay anything for this. I can't complain. Freeware sometimes is pretty good. Some people put a lot of effort into their freeware airports. I'm guessing this guy is from somewhere around here because he's obviously put a lot of effort into making this a pretty realistic model of this airport. It's a nice little airport. It's a busy little, kind of hub of the area. It's not Vancouver by any means. Not a lot of international traffic, but definitely a lot of regional traffic comes in here. So, anyways, that's it. We are done. Let me just pull this up here because we are done. Another schedule of my pilot's life career. So next is Victoria to Vancouver and then Vancouver over to Winnipeg. That's probably about a 4-hour flight if I do both of them together. And I want to kind of do both of them together. So I'm going to see about that. Not a guarantee, but I'm going to try. It'd be kind of fun to do a quick turn in Vancouver and get in and out as quick as possible. Then 2 other legs after that. And then we're done with this schedule for the month. So, and then we move on to hopefully working somewhere else. But in the meantime, we're amassing those experience points. We're amassing that, definitely filling our bank account. And yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for today, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun there. Thanks, West Coast Canuck, for joining me at the end there, and join that Sim Toolkit Pro with me. It's kind of fun, It's just as a fun little gimmick, just to guess those arrival rates. It's nothing spectacular, but it might be fun. So yeah, I definitely will probably take advantage of that in the future. But in the meantime, that's it for me. So yeah, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube. It's the same channel name, Captain Nabs, on YouTube as well. And otherwise, I will see you guys all real soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you later in the week. Take care.